watching Outside the Games with your host, Kevin Linton.
Well, we have a great student athlete here with us today. This is Shayna Glass. She is a class of 2022 student athlete with the Firecrackers club team. She also has a GPA of 4.0 from Mission Viejo High School. Hey, welcome to our show, Shayna. Nice to have you.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. So glad you came in. Well, we definitely talk to these student athletes because we like to get to know them and for others to get to know them about their family life and their sport. But we always start there with family. Family being such a huge piece to who you are, Shayna. How would you describe family and why? Why is it important? How would you define that?
Okay, so family to me is really important. Like, I am surrounded by my family constantly. And to me, family means like those people who are gonna have your back through anything that happens to you, or they'll just always be there for you and love you and care for you. And yeah, family is such a big deal to me. I know they always have my back and I always have their back. So those are my people.
Yeah, and I think the thing is with family, it can cover so much stuff.
Mhm.
Even the little things, right? We always look at food, shelter, clothing. I mean, those are just the basic necessities we always highlight. But there's something special about your parents that play a role. We're going to discuss that a little bit with your mom and dad. Let's take your mom first. How does she help you be the best daughter and student athlete possible?
Right. Okay. So both my mom and my dad during college, they went through sports. My dad's a chiropractor. My mom works with my dad. So we're a very sports oriented family. So my mom is kind of like my comfort person. Like, if I'm upset, like, I'm like, "Hey mom, can you can you comfort me a little bit?" But she definitely plays a huge role with me. And she also did personal training for a little bit. So when it comes to workout and stuff and technique, she's always there to help me and like help me be the best that I can be. So
Oh, that's beautiful. Your dad plays a different role though, because again, mom's the comforter, but then
right.
there's dad that comes into play there. And how does he help you as a student athlete?
Right. So my dad is he's my softball guy. So like all the traveling we do together, and he's at almost every single one of my games. If I need someone to pitch balls to me, he's pitching balls to me. If I need someone to play catch with me, he's playing catch with me. So he definitely is always having my back. He's always with me. He's also kind of my comfort, but they have definitely played two different roles, but they both have my back always.
Somebody is the one that pushes academics. Usually it's one or the other. And who's that one that is behind you with that 4.0 you're getting in high school right now?
I would definitely say my dad. He definitely, and he's always helping me with academics too. He's like, "Hey, if you need extra help, we're gonna do this," and so he always has my back regarding school and sports. But yeah,
Yeah, and I mean him being once a student athlete himself, so I could see that there's that importance that he's going to put on academics, that he wants you to be successful not only in your sport but also the academic part of it.
for sure. And I mean, he went through it himself. Like, he had to go through the grades to get to college and stuff. So he's looking out for me because he knows what to do. So definitely helps me with that. Yeah,
Oh, that's beautiful. Man, a good strong family is important.
100%.
100%. Well, let's look at the aspect of mentorship. And a mentorship is so important because it's that extension, right? You see your family. Do you have any brothers and sisters, by the way?
Yeah, I have two younger sisters.
Two younger sisters. So I can imagine the Glass household is just busy. It's constantly moving,
Right.
right?
Always, yes.
So there's a lot going on. And so yeah, you spend time with your family, your sisters, but then there's those ones outside of the family, the extension of that. And sometimes those mentors, they could be anybody. Could be your family as well. Who are your mentors and why, Shayna?
I would say I have a couple different mentors, but the one I would say I'm closest with is my hitting coach. I go to her once a week, and like, besides helping me with hitting, she also helps me with the mental side of the game. And so she's there for me just to like she lets me vent, and then she always has a solution for me. So if I'm like, hey, like mentally this and this, she's like, okay, let's try this and this. And so she's always there like helping me. And honestly, I would call her part of my family because she's always been there for me. I've been going there for I think about 6 years. So she's definitely one of my mentors. And then another would definitely be Kobe and Gigi Bryant. So I actually did have a relationship with them. I met Natalia, Kobe's oldest daughter, when I want to say 5. We were in the same ballet class together. And so my sister played soccer with Gigi, and so we were always around the Bryant family, and just watching them play and watching them grow as people, like they've always been super inspirational to me. And with them passing this year, it's just like I have on all my visors I have 24 and 2 Mamba mentality, just because that speaks to me like so greatly because like one, you never know when it's going to be your last game, you never know when it's going to be your last practice, so that reminds me going 110% every single pitch. And two, like if you watch both of their game footage, like they just go at it all the time, they do not stop, they do not take their foot off the pedal. So they're just a really like, I feel like they're both two mentors to me because they just keep me pushing and just go 110% until you reach where you want to be. So those would definitely be my mentors.
Wow. And
Yeah.
it had to be really tough for your family dealing with what
Yeah,
happened. Not
it
only
was.
it shocked the world, let's just say that, but
Mhm.
from a standpoint of Mamba mentality, right? That spirit that both Kobe and Gigi had. You could see that spirit in them, right? You could see the way they
Yeah,
competed, especially Gigi, how she competed
100%.
in her sport, right?
Yeah,
You see
yeah,
those examples, it makes you kind of feel like, you know what? I need to put forth that mentality.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, I have it everywhere. Like Mamba mentality is written everywhere regarding sports, like in my visor. So in like the top of a visor, so when I look up, it says Mamba mentality 24 too. Just to like, come on, keep pushing. Like, I don't care if you're hurt, I don't care if you're tired, keep going. This might be your last game ever, and you don't know what in 10 minutes what's gonna happen and stuff. So
You don't. It's unforeseen circumstances can happen, and that we don't know. When was your last, if I may ask though, when was the last time you talked to Gigi? Was there a time
um,
that last time
I
you
would
had a conversation?
Yeah, so my sister was close to Gigi since they were on the same soccer team. But with Kobe, I remember I used to play basketball, and so we were on the sidelines watching Gigi and my sister play, and he like came and gave me a hug, and then we were uh he was teaching me how to be better at defense. So he was like teaching me how to like block someone out and stuff. And so yeah, he was definitely a big mentor to me, and he always had like open arms. He was always ready to help. So yeah.
Pow- Powerful. I mean, when somebody can take just a little bit of time to spend time with you, we always say that here at Outside the Games that I remember seeing something that Janet Jackson did for one of the UCLA gymnasts. Took time to do a
Mhm.
FaceTime call. Very powerful. So
Yeah.
these ones that are in that limelight, as it were, they're professionals that they take the time with those that are coming up in the ranks of their sport. I mean, that plays a big, huge part.
Mhm.
Well, I tell you,
100%.
let's talk about, are there any other mentors that you have that you could say that you didn't hit on? You're not leaving anybody else out.
Well, I mean, like all my coaches, they especially for travel ball,
Yeah.
they are always there in my corner. Like they're always rooting for me. I haven't been with my team for that long since we're a fairly new team. We started up, I want to say October-ish, but I have like had such a great like I've gotten so close with them. I had a great relationship with them, and they're helping me with whatever. Like I'm like, hey, can you help me write this email? They're here. Then hey, can you help me? I need a drill to work on the outside pitch. Like oh here and here. So they're definitely mentors to me, and they're helping me, and they're just so like what's the word? Selfless. Like they're always down to help me. So yeah, definitely my coaches as well.
That's huge. That's huge. Hey, so let's get into the aspect of student athlete challenges, and I know, but let's talk about Mission Viejo High School. Let's talk about that high school. You were once a freshman, Shayna.
Yeah.
You remember that, and going through going through eighth grade up to your freshman year in high school. Take me through what that freshman year was like. That when you first entered into Mission Viejo.
So, if anyone has ever seen Mission Viejo, like, or heard of Mission Viejo, it's the big football school. Like, Mission Viejo, oh, you guys are good at football. Like, that's kind of what we're known for. So, going there, it's like you kind of have that chip on your shoulder, like, yeah, like, we're kind of like that school. And so, there's just the whole school is red and yellow. And there's like Diablos everywhere because that's our mascot. So it's just crazy spirited. I remember on the first day I was walking in, I was so nervous. I was like the little freshman. I was all by myself. And someone ran up to me and was like, "Do you want a donut?" And I was like, "No, I'm okay." Like I was so nervous. And I remember going to the gym to find my schedule. I had gotten to school like an hour early because I was like, I need to find all my classes so I don't get lost on the way. So that was, yeah, Mission is awesome. I absolutely love the school. Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, and I think you echo what every other student athlete says when they first get to that high school. They go, "Where's this at?"
Yeah,
I literally have to get there early to make sure I get to my classes or find out
exactly.
and explore a little bit. So
Mhm.
I could understand that. I think we've all been through that once again as a student athletes that we are, and students, student body. Is there a lot of support for the sports and alumni that come back that give a lot of love to Mission Viejo High School and in all the sports?
Right. Yeah, sports is a super big deal at Mission just because I think every program is like really good. And I know for softball, a lot of the alumni would come back and just kind of watch practices and then like tell us how their season was and like they're like kind of telling us how college is, which is really cool. And at our fields we have this big kind of like sign thing and it says all the alumni's names and which colleges they're committed to, which I think is super cool because not only do you get to see all the great people who are going to Oregon and like Texas and stuff, but also it's kind of like a goal like, oh, I can't wait till my name's up there. Like my name's going to be up there with my school. And that's kind of always been like a thing for me because it's like goal setting thing. So a lot of support. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like what you said there because you have that vision of saying,
Hmm.
you know what, I want my name up there. I want to be a part of this tradition that Mission
Exactly.
Viejo, the Diablos have been, and I want to be able to be that once that alumni to come back and
Yeah.
show some support
Exactly.
as well as some of the others have of some of the other alumni I'm sure have done.
Hmm.
Let's get to the student teacher relationship, and I think that's so big. You're holding a 4.0 GPA, and that's not easy when you're talking about sports. Is there another sport you play? Because sometimes they're dual sport athletes. So it's softball. We know that. Is there another sport?
So freshman and sophomore year, I did play volleyball and I kept a 4.0 both years. And I got on my Letterman's jacket, I got a scholar athlete for both years, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like a yeah, I'm a scholar athlete. So that was super fun. But yeah, I did play volleyball 2 years, but this year I'm kind of more focusing on softball, especially with COVID. Like volleyball didn't really even get a season. So yeah.
Shayna's like, let me find a sport that will have a season
Exactly.
to compete, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What did you like about volleyball though? What was it about volleyball that you really liked about the sport and competing?
Um, yeah, so freshman year I went in and I was like, I have no idea how to play this sport. All I know is get the ball over the other side and don't let it hit the floor. So, I really like volleyball because, well, as we know, like softball and baseball, super slow pace. Like pitch, oh, maybe they hit it, maybe they don't. Volleyball, something is happening at all times. So, and the ball's coming like super fast and you're super close. So I really just liked how it was a super fast paced game and like I could use my softball skills and translate it into volleyball. So with like hitting it over the net is also throwing a ball. Digging a ball to like get it up in the air is also like getting set for a ground ball. So I was able to translate softball into volleyball, which is really helpful. But then also that comes with like challenges because one, you have to learn how to play the game. two, you have to find the balance between softball and volleyball because obviously throwing isn't the same as hitting and like the footwork and stuff. So I really liked it just because it was something new and it was fast and it was a little bit challenging for me. So I really liked it.
Yeah, so you gravitated to the sport of softball, and that's what you stuck with, because
Mhm.
and why we mention those things is because you were trying to again manage a 4.0. You had
Yeah,
homework, tests,
right.
communication with your teachers, and this is prior to COVID.
Yeah.
Once COVID hit, that's where it got interesting. What's your favorite class that you really enjoy in Mission Viejo High School right now, Shayna?
Right now, I don't know. I like all my classes, but probably history just because it's my favorite subject
Wow.
because I like learning about kind of like what has happened before me, and also a lot of his history is memorization, which I and two or the last 2 years I did drama, so I was in a couple plays, so memorization comes super easy to me, and so that's why I like history. But yeah,
Oh, that's great too, especially when I know there's special plays in softball that you got to remember. The coach,
exactly.
they're speaking to you in certain movements and gestures and things of
Yeah.
that sort. So, definitely instruction and remembering that comprehension is big.
Yeah.
That's huge. What is your least favorite class? There's got to be, sometimes they're favorite classes, but is there a one that you just like? I'm not feeling this.
Honestly, it would just have to be like honestly Spanish. I'm in Spanish 3. It's my 3rd year taking Spanish, but during COVID and like the beginning of COVID, one I just kind of how you like forget stuff over the summer? That kind of happened. Also, during like the first part of COVID, like after the spring break period in March or whatever, it was like my teacher wasn't teaching as much. So then it was like, because one, they don't know how to work Zoom. And then two, it's like hard to teach over Zoom, and which is understandable, especially with Spanish. So like going into this year, I was kind of behind, but I've been able to work with my teacher and like get up to speed. But it's still just kind of harder for me. And I don't know, it's not my favorite, but I still enjoy it because I really like my teacher.
That's okay. I mean, there's always a favorite and a least favorite, so we get that. I mean, we're
Yeah.
that way. We're human that way. Well, I tell you,
Yeah.
we'll get more into about the student teacher relationship in a minute. So this has been Shayna Glass with the class of 2022. She is a outfield and second base with the Firecrack club team, but Mission Viejo High School softball team with a 4.0. We'll be right back.
I had this vision of what success looked like. It wasn't always about holding a trophy, it was the journey that I went through along the way. It takes years to get to greatness. I played this one sport for 28 years of my life. When you move on into a completely new territory, you don't know what to expect. I think through sport, I realized that so many things are in my hands. I want to take all the lessons from my past and contribute it to the future. Theragun has been part of my routine for many, many years now. With Therabody, my body's ready, my mind is ready, I'm challenged. I'm Maria Sharapova. How do you see you?
Well, welcome back to our program. We have here Shayna Glass, class of 2022, GPA 4.0, outfield, and she does play a little bit on the base, second base, that is, Firecrackers club team, Mission Viejo High School. It's a softball. What a team I'm sure they've been for you freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah.
We're back talking about teacher and student relationship, and when we talk about that, there's the prior pre-COVID, and then there's when COVID hit. When COVID hit, it changed a lot, and it was everything shut down. Schools had to figure out how they're going to teach students. Sports was on hold. Take me through now because you're going through a hybrid learning now. 2 days on, the rest doing Zoom virtual, right?
Yes.
Take me through what that's like and how you keep up with just the communication with your teachers because that's very important.
Yeah. So personally, I'm more of a visual learner and like I want to be there, I want to be touching things, I want to be going through that. So during the first part of COVID, it was really hard for me to do hybrid just because I would stop focusing, or I'd be like, oh, that's such a pretty bird over there and stuff like that. So I was super happy when my school was like, hey, we're going hybrid. So immediately I was like, yes, mom, let me do this. I was like, I don't even care if my friends don't go, I'm going to school. And so regarding a student teacher relationship, definitely going to school helped me a lot, just kind of have a relationship with my teachers, because in one of my classes there's three other kids, so there's four of us in the classroom and about 25 online. So just being there and kind of like joking around with the teacher and just kind of like answering all the questions, because on Zoom people turn their camera off, don't really talk. So I always try to be vocal and be like, hey, how are you today, and just try to spark a conversation just so I could have that connection. And that helped me last semester too, when I was like, I think one of my classes I was like at an 87, and I was like, hey, listen, I really want to get this 4.0. I really want to get these all A's. What can I do? And he was like, okay, let's retake this test. Here's some extra credit. And he really helped me out just because I did have that relationship with that teacher. And I was able to go to him and he was able to help me. So that was super important. And then obviously, so I go for 2 days, right? I'm in school with those teachers. So I get to, talk to them. But when I'm online, I try to have my camera on just so they can see me, and just so like we can kind of connect that way. And I try to answer the questions, but sometimes it's hard because I like can't find the unmute button and stuff like that. But I definitely do try to just participate as much as I can, and just kind of like in a way make them my friend, just so one, I don't get bored, and two, just because people are kind of mean, they just kind of don't listen, they don't respond. So that's definitely what I try to do.
Shayna, we love this. I love. There's something that just hit me when you were talking. How important it is for a student athlete to turn the camera on. I mean, because if
Mhm.
you think about it, it's this the teacher is trying to be as much vested in this as you are. They have a lesson to teach. But for a person that has the camera off, now I get it. Sometimes you need a restroom break or you need to leave and
Yeah.
turn the camera off and then you turn it back on. But I think it's just an important thing because for the teacher, they want to see the student. That's a way for them to connect with the student
Mhm.
in their lesson and when they teach. Isn't that true?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even my teachers have said like, "Hey guys, like this makes me really sad. I can't see any of you." Or like, we like, if you guys didn't turn on your cameras, I'd have no idea what you would look like. And like to me that's like really sad, cuz they're doing their job. They're probably as bored as we are, just like kind of listening to lectures and writing notes on our computers. So I just try to have that relationship with them. And just so I stay focused, so I'm not like, like going over and like doing something in the other corner of my room. Like I have someone watching me, so I have to pay attention
That's
more.
why the camera's on. Because
Yeah.
otherwise you could have the camera off and you're like, okay, let me go through this. What am I doing
Yep.
tomorrow? What's
Yeah.
happening next week?
Uh-huh.
You're not paying attention. So the other thing is too is attendance. We've
Mhm.
always said it outside the games. These teachers look at you when you come in, they keep attendance. That is a big, big part of your grade.
Mhm.
That true?
Yeah, oh, 100%. So I mean, especially with like now that we're on Zoom, it's a little easier. Like, oh, I have like travel days, especially Fridays. So Fridays I don't go to school, I'm online, which is good. So, but travel days, like I can be in the car on the way to Arizona with Zoom, which is like that's like honestly a good thing about like COVID and Zoom, because like now I'm not missing school. Because on those days I'd be like, all right, I'm out. I'm not going to any of my classes. But now I can do that. And honestly, I make sure I'm like every day of school, because I don't want to miss that one day and be super behind, especially in subjects that I have a harder time with, like math and stuff like that. Like I want to make sure I'm there and present and listening, because if I get behind, then that translates to my test, which translates to my grades. So
No, that's so true. You have a plan. And I think you really highlight that just the flexibility of Zoom, being able to communicate in a hybrid learning environment, and when you have a day off and you are traveling, uh,
mhm.
it's where technology's taken us a long way, hasn't it?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's true. Talk about the teacher and student relationship. What things do you have to do to make it possible for the teacher to be successful? When it talks about they're putting a lesson together, they're trying to teach their class. We give a lot of props to teachers. They have a tough job. What do you have to do to make it possible for them to be successful?
I think one, listening, two, participating, and three, like translating that to my grades. Because if I'm like listening but I'm not trying on my test or my homework, then it's like, oh, what was even the point, you know? So it's like, I feel like getting good grades is a really big part of it because it's letting them know that we understand and that they did their job correctly. So yeah.
For a teacher though, what do they have to do to make it possible for you to be successful as a student athlete? What do you think?
I mean, I feel like if I'm like, "Hey, I don't understand this. This does not make sense to me." If they're like, if they can sit down with me and like help me, which a lot of my teachers have, and I've gone into like extra Zoom meetings with them just to figure out like, "Hey, I just don't understand this." But definitely them helping like extra time, which all my teachers do. They all have an option to set up another Zoom to help and kind of like a tutor kind of thing, which is awesome because it's with your teacher and stuff. Um, so yeah, just kind of like being there for us and asking us if we understand. Because they could be going through it, and I'm like, huh? What did she just say? But sometimes my teachers will like slow down and be like, okay, let's take this chunk and explain this chunk, which is really helpful to me, and that helps me be a better student.
With the school environment, and how COVID has played a part in all this. Uh, what do you think? What tools help you? Because remember we mentioned technology
Mhm.
earlier and how far it's taken us. What tools do you use that you think you can let other student athletes know that are helpful for you to stay on task and keep organized and prepared for your lessons?
Well, regarding technology, just kind of like the apps that my teachers use. So Canvas, it has like, hey, this is due here, 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 and here. Like this is due at this time on this day, which so I check that every day. And then personally, I keep a notebook. I bring it to school and I keep it here. I write like all of my homework that I have to do, and then I write a line under it and everything I have to do for the day. So so like hitting, checking my emails, cleaning my room, sending emails, like just every little thing I have to do. So at the end of the day, I can cross it off. And if I'm missing something, I go do it. And honestly, and this is something my dad has taught me, like I try to do everything that I possibly can in the 24 hours I have of today. So I know that I did the best I could do today. So that in 2 weeks I can't look back and been like, oh, I wish I did that. Like I try to do everything that I possibly can to make me a better student, a better athlete today so that I don't look back and wish that I had done more. So that keeping like notes and crossing stuff out really helps me just because it's like kind of a visual thing. Like, okay, I did that, I'm done. Next thing. But yeah, definitely note taking and then Google Classroom and Canvas. So, school, and my dad has always said it, school comes before everything else, right? Because if you don't have good grades, then everything goes downhill kind of. So that line is like, get my schoolwork done first. This is schoolwork is most important and then softball. School comes before softball always. So that it is kind of a visual thing, but also just kind of like a, hey, come on, you got to do this kind of thing.
First comes first, right? That's exactly how I see it, and then how you laid it all out. That's
Mm,
beautiful. That's beautiful.
thank
Um,
you.
Getting to the aspect of just the school and the student body, a lot of teachers, they feel that student athletes, they're playing a sport.
Mhm.
You want to be the best student athlete you can to show them that, what, student athletes do take it seriously. We care about our grades. We care about what effort we're putting into our athletics, but more importantly, school. Is
Mhm.
that something that you always try to think about when you approach being a student athlete and when you approach your classes and turning in your homework, doing your tests, being as prepared as possible?
Yeah, and like doing the extra as well, like extra credit or studying for extra hours. Like you always being a student athlete is so important, and I feel like in the long run it's going to do me so well because it's going to teach me how to juggle things. And so I really think that's going to help me in the long run. So I'm so grateful to be a student athlete. Honestly, like I don't think I would change it. Like I like being a student athlete. So yeah, just like working constantly and just doing my best.
Student athlete challenges. We mentioned it earlier. We're going to get into that. What student athlete challenges do you find that are difficult for you that you still try to fight hard against and try to master them as much as possible? What are some of those?
Um, Honestly, it would be like the social aspect of it because like I have all my friends, they're all dancers, right? So they don't understand sports and having practices and having schedules. So I'm like, "Hey, I can't hang out today because I have a 4-hour practice and then I'm doing this and this for softball." And they're like, "Well, can't you just skip it?" I'm like, "No. That's just not how it works." And so it's like honestly fighting the like, oh, like I can never hang out kind of thing. Like I don't want to keep letting my friends down. And I think honestly that's the hardest part for me because I'm like, sometimes I just want to be normal. But then I think about it, I'm like, not at all. Like I would not trade being like I love being an athlete and playing softball. I would not trade it for the world. But it's like being a student athlete, you have so much to do and so many things to get done before you can take that free time and go hang out with friends. So that's something I try to like just focus like softball and my academics is going to get me so much farther than going to the mall. So that's just something I have to remind myself and some days it's better than others, but that would probably be like my thing with being a student athlete.
I never thought of this though. When you were talking about laying things out on a planner and you had your homework up here, the line, then everything else, which is basically softball. Do you think it's possible that you say, okay, I'm going to put 2 hours of maybe going to the mall or
Yeah.
maybe spending time with your friends? Is because you have to schedule everything else out.
Yeah.
It'd be possible that you probably try to schedule, hey, I should just add 2 hours there of free time that I can kind of put in there because I'm scheduling the whole day, right?
Right. Yeah, and I do. So another thing with COVID, which is so nice, I start school at 9 and I get done at 12. So I have a super short day. And then so like a Tuesday, let's just a Tuesday for example, I go to school from 9 to 12 and then after that I go to work out and then directly from there I go to practice. Right? So that's my whole day. And mind you, maybe I've done some homework like in class because they give us time at the end, or sometimes I haven't. But after school, I'll be like, hey, do you want to meet up for lunch or dinner or something? And I'll go get dinner. So that's kind of nice. I'll just go after practice and then that'll be at like, I'll be done at like 7 or 8, which gives me plenty of time to do homework. So that's kind of stuff that I do schedule in during the week just because I feel like as a 16-year-old girl, like I need to have fun and I need to hang out with my friends sometimes. So that's what I do try to schedule them. But some days it's like I'll have 3 practices after school. So I'll go work out, I'll have some mission practice, and then I'll have a fielding clinic. So it's like days like those where it's like softball's everything. But there are days that I definitely do get to schedule in friends, which is nice.
Wow. Yeah, you have to. And I
Mhm.
think something that really hit me too was the aspect of I got to balance myself in a sense of what I have to do, but make time for friends, but not let that become a distraction,
Exactly, yeah.
right? And with that, time management. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. You can ask your dad or your mom. They have to schedule out their day. They have to find, when I can, how do I use my time the best possible way? So obviously planning is a big piece of that. Well, I tell you, we have here Shayna Glass, class of 2022. She's outfield second base, GPA 4.0, Mission Viejo High School with the Firecracker Club softball team as well. We'll be right back.
We're all moving at our own speed. From essential workers to frontline responders to you. Whenever you're ready to get out there, Enterprise is ready too. With our Complete Clean pledge, you'll have the peace of mind that will get you safely on your way, wherever and whenever that may be. Enterprise. When you're ready, we're ready.
Well, welcome back to our show. We have here Shayna Glass. She's class of 2022. Outfield, second base, GPA 4.0, out of Mission Viejo High School, out of California. Yes, California. She plays with the Firecracker Medina Garcia club team. Hey, we're going to get into that, Shayna. Firecracker club team. Take me through, first of all, why you wanted to play the sport of softball. And did the Firecracker club team, did that just get you excited to want to compete and then love the sport even more?
Yeah, so honestly, I don't even like when I was little, I remember we fields right next to my house, and I remember watching like these girls play, and I was like, hey dad, I kind of want to try that. And then I started playing, I started getting good, and I was like, hey, this is kind of fun. So I think ever since then, I've just kind of stuck with it. And I feel like the sport has gotten me close with like my dad and my grandpa because they're super big baseball people. So it's like something we could bond over and something that we always do together. Like my grandparents, they come to every single one of my games. I don't think they've missed like one of my games in forever. They come to out of state. They're everywhere. They came to
They're
Arizona with me
committed.
last.
They're committed.
Oh, they're so committed. Gita and Papa, I love them. Anyways, so yeah, the Firecracker organization. Before Firecrackers, I was playing with the SoCal Athletics, and love them. Love SoCal Athletics. They're awesome. But transitioning to Firecrackers, it was just something new, and I absolutely love the Firecrackers. Like there is so much connected with the organization besides just premier softball teams. Like you hear a Firecrackers team, you're like, oh shoot, they're kind of good. But like, so it's like kind of that recognition of being a firecracker, but also like we're connected with Blast and we're connected with Tony Rico, who he has a bunch of videos set out like with hitting and stuff. And I watched a bunch of his videos, which is awesome. It's called the Firecracker School. It's so cool. You watch videos and then you take like quiz questions, which is so cool. So I really like that. But there's just so many opportunities with being a firecracker. And with my teams, Tony Medina and my coach, Ed Garcia, they're just two of the most awesome people I've ever met. And I'm so glad they're my coaches.
You flourished though. I kind of get that from you, is that the SoCal wasn't bad being a part of that club team, but it seemed like you flourished a little bit more. You got that, perhaps that Firecracker staff got a little bit more out of Shayna, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I feel like I came to Firecrackers and I gained a lot of confidence. Like, I don't know what it was, but like, I just, like, the best came out of me. Like, I started playing with this team in October and I was just, like, I was flying off the walls. I was just had so much energy. 8 a.m. I was like hyped up on, I don't even know what, because I don't drink coffee, but I was just so happy to be there. And yeah, I don't know what it is about Firecrackers, but love the organization.
Now let's get into the aspect of softball at Mission Viejo High School.
Okay.
What has been, because COVID had a part in this in regards to delaying a year for you to be a part of that softball team, but you've been varsity since your freshman year. What can you remember how you've improved from your freshman year now going into your junior year at Mission Viejo High School, the Diablos
Yeah.
softball team?
So my freshman year, I was on JV for the first couple weeks, and then they brought me up for a tournament in Bullhead, Arizona.
She was
And
excited.
so,
Shayna
yeah.
was excited.
Oh, yeah, I was so excited. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm going to play varsity in my freshman year. Like, this is crazy. And so I went out. I wasn't expecting to play. I was just kind of there for fun. And we're in a game with Mater Day, which if you know Mater Day is crazy. Yeah. So it's 3-2. There's a runner on second. There's 2 outs. We're up, right? Or it was bases loaded. We're up, 2 outs. And the girl in left field hurt her arm. So like Shayna get in left field. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm playing in Mater Day, winning runs on second. I'm freaking out. And I didn't end up getting the ball, but it was just to be like put in that situation as a freshman, never playing a varsity game.
Big.
Oh, it was insane. Yeah. So that was kind of like freshman year. That was kind of the end of freshman year. And then Sophomore year, I started a little more. I played a little second base, but that got shut down due to COVID. But yeah, just the change from like being so scared freshman year to now this starting center fielder for my team is crazy because I'm like just how far I've come in 2.5 years. It's just crazy. And I really like the environment at Mission Viejo because I just know all the girls on my back and the coaching staff is awesome. They're always in my corner. The mental part of the game, I've just gone like so far since freshman year. That and my confidence level, like it's just been a crazy change since freshman year, and I am so glad that it has been because I freshman year I would doubt myself, and then I wouldn't do good, and then I'd get upset, and then a lot of tears. And now I'm able to like learn from those like bad at bats or if I bobble a ball in the outfield, I'm able to learn from that instead of getting upset at myself and digging myself a deeper hole. So that's definitely something that I have like changed a lot since freshman year, but also just my physicality. Like I have gained a lot of muscle. I feel like I was super skinny freshman year and just like yeah, and just didn't know my own body right, but now I've been able to gain a lot of muscle and I've been going to the gym and stuff. So that's just two things that have drastically changed since freshman year, which I am so glad that it has.
Let's touch on a weakness of your game. Not many student athletes like to talk about weaknesses, but there's always that's kind of a positive because you flip that into something that I can get better at. I'm not done being the best. So what is maybe a weakness or so that you see in your game that you can get better at? And again, you got senior year next year. So what is that?
I feel like controlling what I can control is something that I need to get better at because if sometimes I'll get in a situation and I kind of start to like freak out, get a little shaky, but I have to remind myself that it's something that I like can't control. So I have to like I need to work on like grounding myself and being like, okay, from the situation, we're gonna take it here, here, and here. And so, yeah, I think that's something I need to work on.
You touched on the aspect of gaining muscle. um, Weightlifting and training and plyos, footwork, foot speed, core work, all these things play a part, especially leg work, play a part in your game. What do you, because everybody's different in the way they train, right? I mean, I think there's some level of, yes, I need to do, squats can help me, leg presses can help me, but there's other certain things that a person knows their body well that they can work on to get better at the bigger, faster, stronger. What do you think for a soft athlete? We always ask this question to soft athletes. So, what do you think that you find beneficial for you when you talk about what workouts do you do to maximize your strength and get better at your sport? What do you think? Let's speak upper body. What are some workouts you do for that?
Yeah, so upper body has kind of always been like my thing that I hate doing. I don't upper body, I don't it's but obviously it's something I've had to work on because I do need that upper body strength. And so it's something that I have been working on lately. So just like a lot of like presses with the bar or just like kind of TRX kind of stuff. So pulling stuff down, curls, just kind of everything related with upper body, chin ups and stuff like that. And just working on, yeah, just working on the muscle.
Well, when you do upper body workouts and you do those and I don't say you struggle with it, but it's not your favorite.
Right.
When you
Yeah.
do it though, after you do it, you're sore. You feel
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. But it like feels good because I know that it's working. And I know that the thing that I don't like doing, it's working for me. So it's like, okay, maybe I'll do it a little more. But yeah, it's not that I'm not good at it. It's just that it's just not my favorite. Like so you always have a least favorite and a favorite to something. That's just not my favorite thing.
Lower body though,
Hmm.
that's big because
Yeah.
That's your first step. That's your footwork, foot speed, stealing a base. When it comes to hitting, how is your footwork and stance? Take me through what your lower body workouts consist of, Shayna.
Okay, so lately I've been working on deadlifts and controlling my deadlifts. So not just thrusting my hips up and then dropping the bar, like very controlled using my core and then setting it back down very slowly with like 3 second increments. And also front squats, back squats, lots of squats for sure. And this next kind of thing that I'm doing, we're working on jumping and exploding. So definitely working on that. And then just kind of like lunges and glute exercises, just getting all the muscles in my lower half just maximized just so I can have a lot of power. Yeah, so uh with my squats as well, like I I try to control my body cuz sometimes like my knees will come in or I'll just get super bad form if I'm going fast. So I slow it down when I'm doing a squat. I slow down, I go 5 seconds all the way down until I hit the ball under my butt. So I have to slow it down 5 seconds. And once I hit the ball, then I explode up. So that's the part of the explosion. But going down, I'm controlling, making sure all my limbs or all my muscles are staying tight and keeping a strong foundation. And then once I go down, then I use that explosion to get back up. Same with presses. When I'm laying down on the bench, it's super slow up, or no. So fast up and then slow down. Once I get to the bottom, this is where I'm exploding to maximize like, so that's where the explosion, what I was talking about earlier, comes in. And then just going slow just to keep everything under control. Cause I'd rather have all my movements under control than being super spastic and doing it wrong.
Stay tuned, everybody, because Shayna Glass will have her personal workouts available for you to purchase. That's great. No, we appreciate you explaining that, because I think for student athletes that are doing the training aspect, they need to know. You need to know how important it is to be very, very. I always say quality versus quantity.
Mhm.
You can get as many reps up as possible, but you want it to be quality, and I think that's what you explained very well there. What does that look like, and who seems to be your big rivalry in Mission Viejo High School?
Yeah. So um I would definitely say probably San Juan or Dana Hills. Those have always been super close games. And this year, obviously, we can't do conference because COVID. Can't really like go super far or go out of state. So we're playing with all of the schools in Orange County. So we'll be playing against some new schools, but some of our like older rivals, which is super fun. This junior year, I'm just going to take it one opportunity at a time, right? Because we don't even know if we're gonna get that many games. So out of this junior season, I just want to go all out. Because I mean, we've seen it with COVID. You don't know when it's going to be your last, especially for the seniors. So I honestly just want to back up my seniors, because if this is their last season and they don't even get a full season, I want to be the best that I can be, not only for me and like my recruitment, but for them, because this is their last high school season. So I want them to have a good season, and being in the outfield and being hitting, like I just want to do my best for them just so they have a fun season, like winning and stuff. And I want to contribute to those wins. Speaking on outfield, outfield is super important because you are the last line of defense. If that gets past you, you are running. And I really just, I like getting balls in the air and challenging myself to dive. I absolutely love diving. I dive for almost everything, even if I'm not close to it. I will dive because it's that off chance where you do snag a super far one like that. But yeah, I personally, center field is my favorite because I have a super loud voice and I like to talk a lot. So I like to kind of control the outfield and be like, hey, left, me and you this, right, me and you this. Also, like all the balls in like no man's land behind second base, like I love diving for those. And yeah, and then going over the fence too, so much fun. I think the last two tournaments I've broken two poles going over the fence, and I love it. I love just kind of like making the like plays where everyone gasps at and they're like, Like last weekend, I dove for a ball, and we had both sides were fighting with each other to see who caught it or if I caught it or not. I did. I promise I did. I snagged that off the ground. Everyone was trying to tell me I didn't, but I know I did. We got the out, so that was good.
In the outfield, though, is it a sense because you talked about tiers, right? There's tiers in all sports, and football has their tiers, baseball, softball. Think of someone with basketball, someone has a tiered level. But that third last tier of the outfield, is it true that you try to keep everything in front of you? You don't want something going past you. So you kind of have to judge, especially doing your homework on a certain hitter. If you know they can slap, you know that they can hit the ball with distance, you got to play with that, right?
Yeah, so definitely keeping the ball in front of you is 100% super important because I mean, like if that ball gets past you, every step you take to run to get that ball, the runner is taking another step towards home, which is another run that you have to make up. So if I know if it's a 3, 4, 5 hitter, I usually play back more so that if there's a ball dropping in front, I can run in and dive for that ball, or because I know it's staying in front of me. If it's a slapper or something, I might play a little more in just because that's how slappers work. They try to get it in the little 5, 6 hole. There's little gaps. Exactly. So I definitely do play off of like righty, lefty, power hitter, or like end of the lineup, beginning of the lineup. But yeah, definitely keeping everything in front just so that like I'm not chasing after it. And taking good angles in the outfield is also super important.
So you sacrifice your body. We love that.
Yeah,
She
always.
wants to play. She wants to be on ESPN top 10 plays.
I do. Yep.
If we can make it in high school, hey, let's do it. Mission Viejo High School in California makes it to ESPN top 10. That's great. Um, Compare that to second base, though. That's a little different. That's a second tier, right?
Yeah, so second base, I don't play second base as much, but when I do tend to like play a little more towards the grass and just back more because like opposed to third base, if there's a ball hit to third base, the third baseman has to have urgency to get it to first because it's a longer throw, whereas second base, it's right there, right? So I can take my time a little more just to make sure I field that ball cleanly. Or if I need to get that second hop or whatever, I have a little more time to get it to first. But definitely, yeah, you are the second tier. So diving to your right or left in those little gaps right there, just trying to keep it in the infield as well, because if you keep it in the infield, most likely the runner's not going to get to second. Where if that ball gets through in the gap at second base, the runner's probably going to take advantage of it and go to second. So I think it is the same in a way as outfield, just keeping it in front, keeping it in the infield. But yeah. So at Mission, Coach Kylie, love her. Coach Clint, love him. They teach, right? So if I take a bad angle on a ball, or if I don't hit the ball correctly, they're gonna stop and they're gonna teach me. Or just like yeah, they're gonna teach and hey, maybe try this next time. Or hey, you did this. What do you think you can do differently? And just they teach me a lot. So I really like that.
NCAA softball teams that you love watching.
Okay. So my favorite probably have to be University of Oregon. It has been my dream school since I was really little. And then I mean, yeah, like a University of Tennessee. Oh my gosh, dream school. I would love to go there. I definitely want to get out of California, for sure. And then like North Carolina State, Texas, both Texas ones. So yeah.
Favorite softball player that you really love to watch?
Haley Cruz for sure because she's an outfielder. She has a lot of energy like me. Like I feel like I see a lot of myself in her, and I really kind of want to like be like her. She's at my dream school, so it's like I've met her before. She's super cool. She's super nice, but definitely Haley Cruz.
Been a pleasure to have you on our show. This is Shayna Glass. Pay attention, Shayna Glass, class of 2022. She's outfield, second base. GPA is 4.0. She's doing it in the classroom, crushing it in the classroom, and wants to do even more. So that tells you something about her. With Firecrackers, Medina Garcia club team, those coaches really doing their best to help Shayna out. And then, of course, she goes to Mission Viejo, California. What's not to like about that? So we appreciate you being on our show. It's been a pleasure to get to know you, Shayna.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, wonderful. But we're not done. We have this thing called the Quick Blitz. Oh, yes, Shayna, we get to know you better personally.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, yeah, we didn't know about this one, did you?
No.
So we're gonna get to know you. What is your favorite food? Let's start there.
Oh, favorite food? Probably like a good grilled turkey and cheese sandwich with a little bit of mayonnaise, like kind of like pressed down like a panini. So good.
All right. Favorite dessert?
Probably mint chip ice cream with a little whipped cream on the top. Favorite.
There you go. Android or Apple, and why?
Probably Apple, just because that's kind of what I've used, and my grandparents have Samsungs, and I know it's very hard for them to navigate through that. So I definitely have to go with Apple.
If you could choose a favorite car or SUV to drive, any car, SUV, boy, that's a big decision there, Shayna. What would you choose?
Big decision, big decision. I've always wanted to drive a Tacoma truck. So a Toyota Tacoma, it's like a pickup truck.
Okay.
I was lucky enough in Texas when me and my dad went, we were able to rent a Tacoma truck, and I blasted my country music the whole way to Texas A&M. It was so fun. But if I could get that car, totally would.
Toyota, pay attention.
Yeah.
Toyota,
Exactly.
pay attention.
Toyota sponsor me, please.
Right? Favorite musical artist? You mentioned country, so there's a plethora of country in this student athlete. Who is your favorite country singer?
My favorite is probably Morgan Wallen or Luke Combs. Those are my two favorite. Yep.
Favorite destination spot you would love to travel in the world? Ooh-wee.
I don't know. I really haven't been like outside of California much, but probably like, I don't know, like maybe like Sweden or like Greece or something like that. I don't know.
Okay. Favorite cleat to wear?
Probably New Balance, all white. But a second runner-up is Mizuno, because there was no New Balances in stock, so now I'm wearing Mizuno.
Favorite mitt?
Favorite mitt? Probably my Wilson that I have right now. My big outfield glove, his name is Big Sam. I love him. I want to get new laces on him, so favorite glove, yeah.
And those mitts can be expensive. I understand it, that they can be pretty spendy.
Yeah.
Wow. Favorite casual shoe that Shayna Glass likes to wear with any?
Ooh. Favorite casual shoe? Probably.
I like how you looked at your shoe.
I know, my shoes are right there. Probably my UGG slippers or my Converse.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I love that. Let's get serious on a couple things.
Okay.
One is that if you were running late somewhere, Shayna Glass, you had to let somebody know. Call or text. What would you do?
Call, 100%. I don't like texting. I call everyone. If I need something, I'll be like, hey. I like calling better just because it gets the information better and you don't have to wait for someone to text you back. So it's like immediate and like gets the job done.
If you had to change one thing in the world, what is one thing you would change if you could have an impact in it? What would that be?
Honestly, like for me, this has always been a super big thing, but like kind of like along the lines of like inclusion, kindness, making people smile, and just making people happy. Because I think now, especially in my generation, like people are so sad and like depressed and stuff, and it makes me sad because I'm like, how could you be that sad that like you want to like hurt yourself or something like that? So that's always something I've been like super, I don't even know what the word is, but like it's super important to me is to have people smile and make people happy, because you don't know if like they're like having a super bad day and you say, hey, I really like your hair. Like that could make someone's day so much better. And I just wish I could make everyone happy.
I tell you, I got one last question. You're
Okay.
junior, so think of it. I'm going to give it to you this way.
Okay.
So it's what you prefer. Would you prefer a mitt, a lace comes off, does not work in this mitt? It's your favorite mitt.
Okay.
It's not functioning. Or would you rather be on Outside the Game show?
This is hard. I'm sweating a little bit. No, I'm kidding. Probably be on Outside the Game, obviously. Want to be here with you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Hey, it's been a pleasure to have Shayna Glass, class of 2022, outfield, second base, Firecrackers club team, Mission Viejo High School in California, GPA 4.0. I'll tell you, Shayna, it's been a pleasure to get to know you as a person and a student athlete and player.
Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
Great to have you. Well, you take care out there. Give our love to Mission Viejo High School, the Diablos, of all sports, because we love the student athletes. They mean a lot to us, and so hopefully you send that to your coaches as well. All that love and greetings, and your family. Thank you.
Will do. Thank you so much.
You bet.
This is Savannah Gemolo, and you've been watching Outside the Games with your host, Kevin Menton.